Hello everyone, my name is Miles Rather and I'm going to be talking to you guys about sleep deprivation, something that I'm pretty sure everyone here knows about. So, how much sleep do you actually need to get? As a college student, I know that sleep is a very valuable resource, but how much do you actually get? How much sleep is enough? We've always heard this 8-hour figure thrown around, but what if you get less than that? What are the consequences of depriving yourself of sleep? In this speech, I will inform you of sleep deprivation, reaction speed, degeneration of reaction speed, the potential health issues, and what the recovery time for sleep deprivation actually is. The first thing first, we need to define sleep deprivation. It is the deprivation of being able to meet most sleep requirements due to either personal or work reasons. I'm sure that everyone in this room knows well what sleep deprivation is and has experienced it at least once in their lives. In the short term, what are the actual effects? There was a study about the effects of sleep deprivation on taxi drivers in New York City and their abilities to recognize and avoid potential dangers while driving. In this study, they found the sleep-deprived group had significantly longer response time and took a longer time to first fixate on covert hazards than the control group. Sleep deprivation affects the visual search patterns and response times to hazards, and the adverse effects of sleep deprivation were worse in relation to covert hazards. This should all be no surprise to anyone. If you've ever pulled an all-nighter, you know the feeling. Moving slow, sluggish, poor concentration. All these things are the immediate effect of sleep deprivation. Perhaps you've even drove under this condition. Maybe you find it normal to be driving in this state. I can tell you from this research that I've seen, however, it is not advisable. But there's more than just the immediate effects of sleep deprivation to worry about. Especially if being sleep deprived is normal to you. Subjecting yourself to too little sleep too often can come with much more than just reduced reaction speeds. You need sleep or you're not going to be able to perform. It is as simple as that. Now, there have been studies that show constant states of sleep deprivation can lead to health issues as well. Some of these health issues can be very serious and even life-threatening if not taken care of. I quote, "The relationship between sleep deprivation and colon cancer remains unclear. The study explored the specific mechanism through which sleep deprivation promotes the proliferation and migration of colon cancer, with a focus on the neurotransmitter GABA." Unquote. While the link is still unclear, the idea that something as simple as not getting enough sleep can lead to something like cancer is certainly terrifying. This goes to show that there is no excuse not to try to take care of yourself, especially when it involves something as simple as sleep. It can go further than that, however. There's been a link between sleep deprivation and cardiovascular diseases, or CVDs. That's right, it can even affect your heart health. I quote, "Among subjects who were aged 18 years old, there was a strong association with the development of CVDs. It is also said that with adequate sleep, around 7 to 8 hours a night, could help in improving cardiovascular health." I quote again, "Individuals with 5 or 6 hours of sleep per day were considered as sleep-deprived subjects." So it's not that much sleep that you need to miss out on in order to be sleep-deprived. It should also be stated that men were at a higher likelihood of developing cardiovascular diseases than women. In this next part, I need to define macrophages. And put simply, it's a type of white blood cell. You know the kind, the ones that fight off infection. However, it would appear that our biology can be influenced by our stimuli, or even something as simple as lack of sleep. This can cause macrophages that can even be harmful to us. As it was pointed out in the research, I quote, "Furthermore, M2-like macrophages promote tumor proliferation and migration by secreting IL-17. unquote. While I do not know exactly what IL-17 is, the fact remains that sleep deprivation is a much bigger threat than we may realize. Even beyond just the normal grogginess, having a good night's rest is much more important than we think it is. Lastly, I'll define P2 amplitude. Nope, I don't need to do that. I forgot, but I should have taken that off. So, of course, there's something that you can do about sleep deprivation before it becomes a health issue. However, there is a degree of recovery time that can be far longer than you may expect. You may think that one full 8-hour sleep would be enough. However, this is not the case. It may take several full nights of sleep to completely recover from sleep deprivation. I quote, "The impact of sleep deprivation on working memory can only be reversed by recovery sleep," unquote, or RS for shorthand. In this study, they explained that total sleep deprivation, or TSD for short, occurred after 36 hours of being awake. This was the point in which they conducted their tests of object working memory. Now, working memory is a limited system of the brain that temporarily stores and processes information. An example of object working memory for you would, for you to be shown several objects, and then you are to recall what those objects look like. Now, an 8-hour recovery sleep can partially improve impaired object working memory caused by total sleep deprivation. However, a longer period of RS is needed for the complete recovery of cognitive function after a long period of TSD, unquote. This means, to truly catch up on sleep, you need a few good nights rest before you're back to 100%. This is why it is important to get to sleep at a reasonable time. Your body and mind depend on it to continue functioning at 100%. Now, in conclusion, sleep is a valuable commodity and necessary, not only for survival, but for your health as well. It is something, pardon the pun, you shouldn't sleep on. I thought I got rid of that one. We know how we feel when we don't get enough sleep. We think slower, we move slower, but it's much more than just that. It affects our ability to recall things. It can have detrimental health effects or even worsen pre-existing conditions. And it is not as easy to catch up on sleep as one may think. Strive to have at least 7 hours of sleep and stay away from indulging in the late night if you can help it. So I pose this question to you. Are you getting enough sleep? Thank you.
Thank you.